Just when you thought the competition couldn't get any hotter, enter the third and final day of the 2006 New South Wales Alphera Dutton Rally. The Dutton Rally is a legal way of fanging your fast car in a safe way. From car parks, hill climbs, airstrips, drag strips, skid pans, closed roads to racetracks. But more than fast times, the Dutton Rally is all about having fun. And with more than 25 events over dozens of different challenging locations, it's difficult not to.
So, not a lot of money at the end of this event, is there?
No, there's no prizes for winning. There's a nice big trophy, but no money. Everyone's out there competing for a bit of plastic, but yeah, they're having fun.
What are some of the classes and what are they actually racing for?
Yeah, well, there's 10 different classes in the event, Glenn, so it ranges from front-wheel drive, minis, right up through to Porsches and the big horsepower Nissan GTRs and the Subaru WRXs and Evos. So there's plenty of different classes. So whatever you have as your car, come along and bring it, and you'll have a chance in a class.
The start of day 3 saw a cruel ploy by the organisers, with a 6 a.m. start and a 3-hour drive from Queanbeyan to Sydney's Eastern Creek Raceway. On arrival, spirits miraculously lifted. I wonder why. And female competitors weren't forgotten. The lap record for Eastern Creek is 1 minute 19.7 seconds. That's right, 1:19. Okay, Nicolas Lapierre holds the record, a French-born race car driver who was driving his A1 Lola Zytek with an average speed of 177.4 kilometres per hour. We didn't expect speeds quite like this when we hit the final location of the New South Wales Tour, but the competitors certainly gave it their best. As the first full racetrack dash of the event, Eastern Creek's 4-kilometre track also has a skid pan test, figure 8 stage, and just a short drive away, Western Sydney International Dragway. The figure 8 is a drifter's dream. 2 laps of a simple crossover with subtle hills and drops, where power slides may be fun, but they're not the fast way around. Speaking of power slides, we asked crowd favourite Darren Park his plan of attack for the circuit.
So Darren, got the big girl out again?
Yeah, we've brought her out for another year. We're waiting on the new car, which should be ready for Queensland, so we brought this one back out to give it one more run. So,
tell us about it. It's got a bit of history.
Yeah, it's just about done every Dutton except the WA one. So we've put a few different engines, tried different combinations for these rallies, and the last one was a real big engine, so we got a little less grumpy this time.
Now, what about the tyres?
So far, so good. We went out in the car park yesterday, and I tried to do a Martin and get too serious and drive around and be real careful. I think we did a 48. Second one, I was a bit crankier and said, stuff it, I don't care about the time. Went out there and just slid it everywhere and did a 39. So it just shows you don't be too serious on these things.
Pushing harder, you reckon, is the way to go.
It's a Dutton, you always push harder.
Luke O'Neill agreed, and determined not to be up for another round of drinks, put in this performance. While Craig Rogers in his 2005 FPV F6 Ute put pedal to the metal, literally. The figure 8 is a challenging stage for any old hand. So how was greenhorn Molly Taylor handling it?
Oh, I'm having a ball today. I think I'm hitting a few too many witches' hats, but today's going better.
They're very aggressive out there on the skid pan.
Oh, you have to be in this car. Only way to drive it.
So what is the driving style?
In the Mirage, a lot of left foot braking around the track, and it's great on the motorcanas and things with the handbrake. We've got a hydraulic push vertical handbrake in it, so because it's front wheel drive, you can keep the foot on the power and just use the handbrake to pivot the car all around the cone. So it should be really quick around these. Don't know about the driving.
Now, how are you going in the standings?
My times haven't been too bad, but on my penalties for witches' hats and things have been adding up, so don't know how I'm doing overall.
Like most drivers, Raymond Ang in his 1992 Porsche 968 was thankful there were 2 runs, as he shaved 2 seconds off his time on his final run. Sunnyfield is the official charity partner of the Dutton Rally National Series. And to tell us more, we caught up with events and fundraising manager Sally Shepherd.
Sunnyfield is one of the largest service providers in New South Wales to help people with intellectual disabilities in a range of services from accommodation to employment, respite services and recreational activities.
Now, you've had an association with the Dutton Rally for a while?
We have since the end of 2003. We were involved in the first New South Wales event and then all the events subsequent to that. So we've raised a lot of money for Sunnyfield of over $200,000.
Eastern Creek Raceway is a flowing, high-speed track with a daunting 200 km/h turn 1 that begs to be taken flat out. But few actually do. Mark Scaife in his V8 supercar holds the Australian lap record around here with a time of 1 minute 32 seconds. Today, Greg Keane in his Porsche GT2 came closest, just 11 seconds slower with a 1 minute 42 seconds. Greg Muller pushed his Evo 8 around in 1:53, while John Bright's Nissan GTR managed a 1:52. With 2 laps to set a time, anything under 2 minutes around the creek is fast. Just ask John Medlin, who managed a 1:59.
How'd you go on the big lap?
Yeah, lots of fun, bit of an adventure.
I like the way you retracted the airfoil at the end.
Yeah, push the button, it comes back down.
But it wasn't just the utes pushing hard.
Little drive shaft or a diff.
Well,
Not good news. It's thought it might have been a tail shaft or a diff. It's either a tail shaft or a gearbox. The car was going fantastic. Just went to lay into it to get it around that top turn and just bang. Just made a lovely little boom in the car. So not good news. We'll take it back and try and get another box or a diff, whatever it is in it.
With about the same power as a V8 supercar, you could say Darren's drivetrain was feeling a little stressed.
so Darren, what's the story?
Wasn't as bad as we thought. It's only a broken drive shaft. As you can see, it's just sheeted off cleanly. So that must be a machining fault, mate. Wouldn't be my driving at all, would it?
So what's the plan now?
Mate, we've just got an axle in there now. They're just putting it together. But it'll be as right as rain. I'll be back out there just smoking them up again. So hope to see us over at the drag strips.
The Western Sydney International Dragway, or Wizard for short, is an international standard quarter mile. And it's a little trickier than it looks. An average family Commodore would run 15-second times out here, where tenths of a second count. Or in the race between James Moss and Molly Taylor, it was down to hundreds. James Brock and Paul Stokel are 2 guys used to battling it out on the track. Now racing for Mini on the same team, we asked how the transition from foe to friend has fared.
He's actually not a bad bloke, but it took a little bit to get to know him, and, you know, we've had a few nights together this weekend, and it's also a good party. Did I mention it's a good party this weekend? But no, we've had a lot of fun, and I think the rivalry is always friendly, you know. As long as you've got great blokes out there, and most blokes in motorsport, when you get behind the scenes and get away from the competition, are really nice people. So yeah, we're having a ball.
So does that mean he thinks you're a nice guy or not?
Well, I couldn't work that one out, actually. I don't know where he's coming from there.
So, Paul, lots of similarities between the Lambo and the Mini?
Yeah. They've got black tyres. Yeah, they're very similar. I'll tell you what they are good for. They're fantastic in car parks. We're running around in car parks, which I've never actually raced in a car park before. And the shopping's never going to be the same ever again because I can handbrake turn into a parking spot perfectly with these things.
In a clash of Mark versus Mark, 2 different models of Lotus, Peter Lucas's Elise and Craig Morrison's Exige, went head to head, with the Exige coming out on top. But king of the drag strip was Mark Berry's Nissan GTR with an amazing 10.8 second run. To put that into perspective, that's about the same time that Michael Schumacher's F1 car would do. Eastern Creek's massive concrete skid pan is the largest in the state. And though it's designed to be wet with internal watering systems, today it's tricky enough in the dry. Michael Gaynor's Porsche 911 Turbo used its power for good. But Porsches don't handbrake turn that well. Unlike the Subaru of Mike Jones, who had the speed, but missed a gate on his first run, adding 5 seconds to his time. While Mark Berry's GTR set the pace with a 45-second time, Darren Park got it back together in time for the second run, where he managed a 50. They call it a skid pan for good reason, and whoever wasn't fast was still having fun, burning through the brakes. For Barry Smith from Barry Smith Motorsport, that's good. He's the major supplier of components and brake parts for the Alphera Dutton Rally National Series.
Now this car you've used in a few events lately, haven't you?
Yeah, we bought it. It was a really quick car before I bought it. And then we changed one component only, and it's going really slowly now. The trouble is we changed the driver. Jim Richards is a little quicker.
What are your thoughts on the event?
Oh, it's a great event. I think it's, for us, we're an associate sponsor of the event because we supply a lot of brake components and helmets and seats and other things. And we've had a fair bit of feedback where people were happy to see us involved because we've taken enough money off them and they're very happy to see us putting a bit back in.
So with the final 7 events finished and the end of day 3, the times were taken away to determine who would take out the New South Wales Alphera Dutton Rally. Greg Sutton and Bernie Wilson had some strong events in the morning, but after a day of horsepower, how would they fare against rivals Mark Berry and Russell Newman and Martin Ataris and Simon Arthur? And while they may not make the top 3, we should mention the 2 MX-5s. Mazda's MX-5s are designed for motorsport, and there were 2 at the Dutton, but they're far from factory. The white MX-5, driven by Vern Johnson and Paul Brell, is a highly modified, turbocharged 1.6-litre 4-cylinder, making over 200 kilowatts, about the same as a new Subaru STI. In the other cab is the Bullet SS, driven by Barry and Martin Foam. That's based on an MX-5, but runs a 4-litre V8 from a Lexus and about 250 kilowatts. One person who was a winner before the Dutton even started was Motor Magazine winner Joshua Bridson, who won a drive in a new Volkswagen Golf GTI as part of the magazine's competition.
How did you enter the competition? Tell us what you went through and how you've ended up to be here.
Well, basically I had to submit a 25-word or less statement as to why I thought I should be here, convince people at the Dutton Rally that they should give me a go at a driver training course with the Murcott boys. I went through that with 4 other motor readers who were all great blokes, but ultimately at the end of the day I was the one that got through, picked by the driving instructors to have a go at the rally. So I thank everybody who's been involved to this point to give me the opportunity. It's been fantastic.
And the little Golf, how's it going?
Oh, it's awesome. I love the car. It's got so much torque, so much power. I love the way it comes on boost, and it's so predictable at the limit. You can just rely on it to stay where you want it to be at any point in the time that you're out there on the track or wherever.
Partnering Josh is motor columnist Paul Coburn, also an industrial designer who is most famous for designing the Dolphin torch.
Now, Paul, are you enjoying the event?
Very much. It's really just such a good way to get into motorsport if you wanted to try it. I mean, normally if I go away on this sort of expedition, I'll try and learn what's going to happen. But this time I'm working on the principle there's someone sillier than me here, and the organisers have made allowance for that. And I just get caught up in the net and follow along, and you don't have to know anything. It's great.
The 2-car Team Volkswagen was also joined by Dean Evans and Christian Brunelli, who finished 17th outright in the team's competition and will be heading to the next round in Volkswagen's new Golf R32. After the break, the results are announced. Who will be the winners in the 2006 Alphera Dutton Rally New South Wales event? And so it was single file to the Flying Fish restaurant at Jones Bay Wharf in Sydney, where competitors gathered for the debriefing and final trophy presentation. The tension was building as the times were being tallied, so we called on competitors to recount the last 3 action-packed days.
Oh, look, today's been fantastic fun. I mean, yesterday was a pretty challenging day, I suppose. Friday, everyone had challenges with the weather, but I mean, today we had no errors. You know, all our times have been our best times, and I think, you know, sort of top 5 times generally, so can't complain, really. It's been a great day, and Eastern Creek's a great way to finish the weekend, and then come down here and have a beer to celebrate, and hear all the tall stories.
So, Barry, you're home turf this weekend.
Yeah, great event. Started in Canberra. We usually have to drive to and from, but this one we've only got to drive home.
Now, father and son, what was the outcome of it all?
Oh, I think quite good. Martin drove steadily. We've got a new car, untested. We've found out a few things. Too much brake bias to the rear, 3 spins for Dad, none for son.
Well, Marty, by the sound of it, you beat him.
Yeah, it was my first rally ever, had great fun, so yeah, I'll hopefully be back again next year and hopefully we can do better times than Dad in the end, but we'll see.
It's just a normal way of getting out. It works well. They're very good, these cars, aren't they?
Yeah, very good. Very nice car to drive today.
Easy to get in and out of?
Not really.
How did it all go? How was the weekend?
Very wild. Jody Vincent here over from New Zealand. He's over as a co-driver. Probably won't invite him again.
You had a good time?
Yeah, awesome time. Yeah, the first time I've ever done, we have a Targa in New Zealand similar to this, but never been on it, and this is the first time to come over and test Johnny's car, and it was unbelievable. Had such a good time.
Fantastic. What did he say? How'd you go? How was your weekend?
I had a fantastic weekend, thank you.
Yeah? What was the best part about it?
When the rain stopped. With a little Lotus, she doesn't like the rain, so we were really happy when the rain stopped and the sun came out.
As a co-driver, more importantly, did you knock the driver off, so to speak?
No chance of knocking the driver off, but certainly he set the standard, and I knew what I had to try and aim for.
So, after 2 years and 5 events and leading overnight, was the perennial runner-up combination of Sutton and Wilson finally feeling confident of taking out their debut Dutton Rally win?
Well, it was a big horsepower day today, and I think we got left for dead at the drags, so I'm not very confident, to tell you the truth.
We did have a few points on them this morning, but we were talking about it with the drags and the track and the amount of big horsepower cars that were out there. I don't think so.
Good event, enjoyed yourselves?
Oh, fabulous event, always good fun. Great circuits, a bit of rain on Friday, which made it exciting, and 2 fine days after that. No, great event, a few quiet beers after the end of every day. Lovely.
Bernie?
Yeah, no, it was a wonderful event. It was well organised by Mossy and Sam and what have you, and just a big thanks to the officials. I can't believe that people would actually volunteer and come and stand in that rubbish that was on Friday with the rain and the wind and everything else. It was bad enough driving with wet shoes, but those guys were soaked to the bone, and we really appreciate everything they did.
Sutton and Wilson weren't the only competitors grateful for the outstanding effort made by the officials throughout the event.
What do you got to say about the officials?
The officials are fantastic, actually. They are absolute champions for standing. I know exactly how they feel standing out in the rain all day, so, fantastic.
They're fantastic. I mean, that's a lot of commitment to sit out there for free and, yeah, in the cold, shivering and just smiling the whole day, and, yeah, they're great.
So, with a few beers dulling the potential pain, the times were finalised and in. First up was the Driver and Co-Driver Championships. After dropping out of the top 3 on day 2, Simon Arthur had no hope of claiming his usual position at the top and opening the door to a number of guys, especially Mario Calabria with his 2001 Mitsubishi Evo 6, who finished 3rd after consistently being in the top 5 over the 3 days. In 2nd position was Russell Newman in the 1989 Nissan Skyline GTR. And 1st place in the Outright Co-Driver Championship went to Bernie Wilson, who was just as surprised as everyone else at his 1st and not 2nd placing. So with the team's championship made up of co-drivers and drivers' points combined, it was still anyone's guess, as 3rd place for the Drivers' Championship went to Greg Sutton, again in an odd, as in not 2nd place. But the big upset was defending champion Martin Ataris, who placed 2nd outright by the narrowest margin. That left the New South Wales Drivers' Championship to be claimed by Mark Berry and his Skyline GTR. And no one deserved the win more than he did, having suffered a family loss just before the event.
We haven't had the greatest weather. We need to rally more in Queensland. It's substantially better. We're going there. So hopefully we see nearly everyone up in Queensland, and it'll be a really good event. And this weekend, this goes to my wife. She passed away 3 weeks ago, but.
Simon Arthur finished 4th in the co-drivers class, and as the jewel in the crown of the Dutton Rally is the team's event, this meant that he and Martin Ataris could only manage 3rd place this year in their Mitsubishi Evo 8.
Can't win everything.
And to the point of being almost unbelievable, 2nd place went to the team of Greg Sutton and Bernie Wilson, also in an Evo 8.
I look very happy with 2nd. We're used to it. I was just saying to Sarah on the way in from Eastern Creek today, it was lucky because we had some work done at home and we had a new wall unit put in, and
The missus is trying to figure out how high the shelf should be, so we got to have the second place trophy, so that'll do, Dale.
So claiming their debut win and the New South Wales Alphera Dutton Rally team's win was Mark Berry and Russell Newman in their Nissan GTR. After 3 fun-filled, action-packed days, competitors raised a glass to the winners and saluted what was an incredible event. We hope to see you at the next Alphera Dutton Rally, which takes place in Queensland from the 28th to the 30th of July. And for more information, visit their website at duttonrally.com.